So the Outlaw Ocean Project is a nonprofit journalism organization based in DC. We focus on the watery 2/3 of the planet and human rights and environmental abuses that happen out there.
The oceans are an area that a lot of journalism doesn't focus on. It's expensive, it's difficult to get out there, it's difficult to understand what's going on, but it's incredibly important that we do understand what's happening on the sea.
So the Outlaw Ocean Project is unique in that we do things differently than traditional venues. We, number one, report on a space that's rarely covered. We also report the stories at sea, at least partly, so that we can have a more vicarious, real sense of what's going on out there.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in the fishing industry, for example, that you might buy fish in your shop and you'd have no idea of what the chain of production for that was. And I think consumers want to know that kind of thing. And I think this, I hope, is going to shine more of a light on that and ideally bring some changes in how that production happens.
So the Outlaw Ocean Institute is a recent creation, and the goal is to invest in early career promising journalists in the very places that are most impacted by the stories we cover.
My name is Mustafa Mane, and I'm from the Gambia.
I am Gaya Katrina Kabiko. I am from the Philippines.
My full name is Min Ji Day, and I'm from Myanmar.
Most of my stories are based on environmental issues, even though sometimes I report on human rights.
Mustafa is someone I'd worked with before on a prior investigation. Really smart, motivated, and in a very difficult place to report. So he was a no-brainer.
This kind of fellowship, right, is like kind of my dream. And this is the very first experience of me that actually happened to me, and this is like kind of a stepping stone.
Our second journalist is Min from Myanmar, and he's a videographer. Has been doing a lot of amazing work in Myanmar in some pretty thorny areas of the country. And we're interested in having him help us take a look at the South China Sea and what's going on along that coastline.
We need more storytellers now more than ever in this age of disinformation, in this age where climate change is affecting every region in the world. So we need to tell more stories that move people to action.
Gaya, who's from the Philippines. The Philippines is quite interesting. It, as a country, produces a quarter of all seafarers that work on merchant vessels. And a lot of the concerns about labor abuses end up playing out with Indonesian or Filipino workers. And Gaya is an extremely promising journalist. Most of my staff are based in the developing West, and most of the stories we're chasing are not. And so we want to, number one, find journalists out there in the island nations, in the coastal nations, who are doing good work, show real promise, are at an early stage of their career where they can most benefit from collaborating with us.
So the Outlaw Ocean Project, we hope, will benefit from working with these fellows by learning a lot about what their experiences are in the parts of the world that they're in, and the kind of unique problems that they're facing in those countries, from the environmental issues, particularly to do with climate change. They live in coastal regions that are particularly affected by that. And also the fishing industry and how that's impacting on their communities in different ways.
This is a farm team. You know, we intend to recruit and hire out of the ranks of the fellows. So in some ways it's us scouting talent out in the world, in the very places where we need more language, more local knowledge, more community fluency. You know, we need more infrastructure in the places reporting, so we're not doing sort of this Western extraction journalism.
For me, it's really amazing opportunity. So one of the things that I'm looking forward is getting to know more about investigative reporting, especially when it comes to human rights and environment.
So for this fellowship, I am hoping that I could improve my reporting of environmental concerns and human rights concerns, because Whenever I write stories about the environment or like climate change, I always make it to a point to connect it to people, to highlight how environmental degradation or how the impacts of climate change affect the fundamental rights of the people.
And what we want to do is give them extra skills, kind of boost what they already have, and to try to develop them more intensely as investigative journalists.
So my hope is that, in 3-4 years down the road, we'll have several batches of earlier fellows who might even be, number one, helping us find the next batch of fellows. Number two, maybe playing a mentor role to our subsequent classes of fellows. And some of them hopefully are on staff, working for the Outlaw Ocean Project full time. That would be my dream.